When are these movies going to give us the search for the formula to give us a great video game movie? Because we're all still waiting on it. Based on the video game franchise of the same name, Nathan Drake teams up with a man named Sully on the search for a lost treasure. Standing in their way is a billionaire with plenty of resources to stop them. But can our heroes find the treasure before it's too late? So going into this, I've never played, full disclosure, any of the Uncharted games. I've watched my roommate play the game for a handful of minutes, maybe up to an hour. I've just sat there and watched him play this video game. It's a very cinematic looking game from what I could tell, and it looked pretty fun, and I've heard nothing but great things about the franchise as a whole. So it's not really a surprise that they eventually got this turned into a movie. They've been trying to get this off the ground for a long time, and I think, now that it's in theaters and it's out there for people to see, they might have gone about this the wrong way. Don't get me wrong, I like Tom Holland in this movie as Nathan Drake. I think he's got a charisma, and he is a really good lead, but I don't know if he's the right lead for this. So from the inception of this particular version or iteration of the Uncharted film, because I know there was a bunch of failed attempts prior to this, they decided to go with a younger actor in Tom Holland. Hey, he's a big hot name. The dude Spider-Man literally just broke the box office with Spider-Man No Way Home a couple months ago. So I get why you would want an actor like that to be your main character, but from what I've understood, the character in the games is a little older, a little more grizzled, not so much a pretty boy, but I get the formula that they were trying to go for, and that formula is, you get a young, talented actor, get that name recognition, then you add a notable IP that maybe some people have heard about or experienced, like an Uncharted, and that result should give you a long-term, should give you long-term franchise viability. Now, by making your character younger instead of the 30-ish, 40-ish he is in the video games, I guess, and you knock him down to a 25-year-old, that's going to buy you some time for longevity, having the franchise, 4, 5, 6 installments, what have you, as long as these movies make money and as long as Tom Holland wants to do it. I get it. The plan makes sense, and that formula is there for a reason, and I can't fault him for it, but was it the right decision to go with that younger actor? Maybe not. I didn't feel like this story stood out enough to warrant, kicking off a franchise. It's odd because it's not that, I don't think they could be good movies. I think they could, but I think the direction they went in was all wrong and borderline generic. Nothing about this stood out or impressed me that much. It's already kind of a knockoff of Indiana Jones, and they kind of mention Indiana Jones in this. They even rip off a line in this movie where, Indiana Jones's famous line is, "Snakes. I hate snakes." And Nathan Drake in the film goes, "Nuns. I hate nuns." Why? I don't know. It was silly. Kind of took me out of the movie and made me really facepalm in the theater. But, they got Mark Wahlberg to play Sully, who's fine. I think at one point Mark Wahlberg was actually going to play the Nathan Drake character, but that was a few years ago, so now he's aged up a little bit. So they're like, we'll make him Sully, and he can be Sully for a long time, just as long as Tom Holland wants to be Nathan Drake. So it is what it is. It's fine, and I'm not going to be upset that they don't look like the characters from the game. Well, come on, guys. What are you going to do? It's a movie adaptation, so you got to let go of some of that, which, I agree with, but I also agree with that. Like I said, I don't know if this is the direction I would have gone. The way this movie starts off, really, really fast paced. It's the pacing at the beginning of this movie is so rushed. They're really trying to get from, all right, here's our Nathan Drake character. This is, his little 5 minutes of backstory, and then we want him teaming up with Sully ASAP. So we're 6-7 minutes into the movie, and they're just teaming up because they need to team up. I wish there would have been a little more development, a little more make me care about why these two have to team up. It wasn't there. They didn't fully connect the dots. It's like they got point A and they got point, F, and they skipped the rest of the points in between that would have made that jump a little more coherent and a little more worthwhile. And they were just like, we just want to get into everything. We need to kick this franchise off ASAP, so let's just get the ball rolling. And don't get me wrong, they get it going. We get into the action. We get into the, the mystery, the jumping around, buildings and finding artifacts and all that, right from the get-go of this movie. And hey, well, I think that'll work for some people. For others who really would like to be like, I want to invest in a character. I want to invest in why they're doing what they're doing. I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you. I don't think any of that was really there. You get the bare minimum. So yeah, again, not impressed. And this cast, Tom Holland is fine. Mark Wahlberg is fine. Antonio Banderas seems like a wasted villain now afterwards. I was excited about seeing Antonio Banderas as a bad guy in this movie, and wasted. And then the other couple characters that, keep popping in and out are just generic. The acting, not so great with them, and it's just, I don't know. It was 2 hours of my life. I was like, well, whatever. It's a movie. It's a movie. I didn't hate it. Didn't love it. There's a couple good action set pieces that they do in the third act that is actually kind of fun. Actually made me like wince a little bit, like, ooh, that dude just got punched into a pile of rocks. So okay, cool, you got me there. But for the first couple of acts, it was just like, why? I mean, it even comes to a point where it's so ridiculous because like there's this, they have to find this part of an artifact or something connected to an artifact, and they have to go into a Papa John's restaurant. And yeah, you heard that right. They have to go into a Papa John's restaurant to find some sort of artifact or something connected to an artifact. I don't want to spoil it for you, other than the fact that, yes, you're going to see some Papa John's sponsorship in this movie, and it's bad. It's just head-scratchingly bad sometimes. It's trying to do a lot in order to be that next franchise, which I think it has the DNA to be, but it's a first entry. I'd be very dubious of going into a sequel. And spoiler alert, there is one post-credit scene. I read that there was two. We only saw one post-credit scene, so just stick around for the mid-credit scene. You don't have to stick to the end of the whole credits for another one, because there ain't one that we saw in our screening. Generic up the wazoo. Very disappointed. I thought, I saw the reviews were very meddling to meh to bad. And I was like, make up your own mind. Go into this. It could be fun. That's all I wanted. It doesn't have to be a perfect movie. It just be a fun adventure movie. Even if you're kind of ripping off Indiana Jones, it's fine. Just entertain me. And I was not entertained terribly much. Luckily I took my cousin to go see it, and he enjoyed it more than me. Yeah, I'm giving this film a C+. Again, as much as I wasn't a fan of it, they do some stuff right. The acting is okay. Cinematography, everything is pretty, standard, pretty fine. But nothing was like, oh, that it was a gorgeous shot. And I don't know what scenes were taken right out from the video game. There is the one scene from the trailers you saw where it was like hanging out of a plane, dangling. So that's, I guess, from one of the games. I don't know if it's the first game. I don't think it is, from what I was told. Whatever. I could care less at this point. If they mismatched 4 video games into one movie, I'm sure the diehards will have a problem with that. So, it just nothing really memorable stuck out, other than, like I said, in the third act, the coolest stuff happened with, a couple of ships, flying through the air. That was pretty entertaining. So, yeah, I ain't got much else to say, guys. Would I see a second one? Maybe. I think they could go in a different direction, get a different filmmaker in there, try something different, because this franchise has potential. They've got a lot of mistakes they could learn from to improve on things, and they might have an idea for a sequel. What franchise doesn't have an idea for a sequel? I mean, they can barely get one movie out, and they're already planning sequels. Like, they just can't worry about making a good movie first, and I think they made a meh movie first, and it's going to be a lot harder to sell a sequel on people and fans who like the game so much. So we'll see what happens. And so if you guys like the video, please leave that thumbs up. It is greatly appreciated. Helps out the channel in more ways than you know. And then please subscribe, hit that bell, do all that stuff, to get notified when there's new videos. Again, helps the channel. That's what I appreciate about you viewers. And then finally, did you see this movie? Did you play the games? What did you think? Leave your comment down below, or comments, plural. I'd love to see what your guys' thoughts are on this or the games. Because like I said, I've never played any of the games. Are they worth my time? I heard they are. So leave that down below. And yeah, guys, that is it for a meh movie. Yeah, until next time, guys, I guess I'll be seeing you.